Hi everyone. Okay, so this is going to be for someone who has some sort of creative gift, some creative talent, right? If it's an artist, okay? You're an artistic person, you have some sort of ability, project, something that you are you working on it? You have work, you used to work on it a lot. And then now you're then you put it to the side. You weren't really paying much attention to it. Then you've now kind of started exploring it more, or you're getting some more like passion, like you're getting more ideas, and so it feels separate from it. So like, let's say for instance, okay, let me show you the card that I have. It's Love Begins, okay? So this kind of shows me like someone who's like pouring a mold, right? Like you're pouring a mold, you're firing something up, or you're even like, what is it when you're looking for, like you're mining, like you're mining for gold, you're mining for stuff. You could be a jewelry maker, you could be, like you're creating some sort of, it feels tangible, like something physical, right? And you're mixing things, right? And it feels, that's the artistic talent, because the other hand in this is spirit's hand, right? Or your creative hand, your creative mind working in tandem with your physical hand, your physical whatever, talents. And so patience is what I'm hearing. First of all, you have to be patient with your plans or your ideas, because it feels like you are naturally being patient, and there's something about that that makes you feel almost uncomfortable, because mentally you're thinking, I could be doing more, like I have enough energy to do more, or I have enough material to do more, or I have enough ideas to do more, but yet there's something that's kind of slowing the pace for me. And spirit, like your guardian angels, are saying to ride with that. Just go ahead and be patient with it. It's not a big deal, no problem, no rush. Because that's actually going in line with what how it's supposed to unfold or happen for you. Is you want to put kind of like this slow energy into this talent that you have, whatever you're doing. You want to put that, like, I'm here, it's kind of methodical, but also methodic, or melodic and methodical. You know, with a melody, sometimes they're showing me a sentence, okay? And the way that they're showing me is the inflections of the sentence. So they're trying to give me an example. They're saying to carry on with the story, like carry on with, to tell you, but then say it in a story frame, in like a poetic way, is what they're saying. So what you're doing is essentially poetry, or it could literally be poetry, but the way that the method of which you do it should be poetic. They want me to keep going. Okay, so this is it. There's a moment at the beginning of this where they're telling me to kind of slow down and go, you know, very slow. But then there are moments here where they're telling me to pick up the pace, and then all of a sudden all these images start coming to my mind and all this passion, and I can see you just journaling and writing down different ideas of what exactly you know you're supposed to be doing. And then afterwards you're thinking, why aren't I putting it together? It's like, that's what they're saying. And you see, so it like speeds up, like the way that I said it speeds up and intensifies, and it's like that energy that you're pulling, and yet then it just calms down and you say, where do I put this together. I can feel it and it's there, but I need to put that journaling and all the information that I'm writing and the things that inspire me and that I know are going to kind of like put the materials together and melt it together. They're actually showing me, like, because I've been looking into stamps, like wax stamps and the history of stamps, wax stamping, and that's just something that I'm like, I've always really liked that kind of stuff, but there's something about that I've just really been thinking about lately. But that's kind of what it looks like to me, right? Also, like when you pour the wax out and you stamp it. But they're showing me that that's actually what I was supposed to say, because with stamping, historically, you know, and that's how you would make your mark, right? Like that's how they know you, from your stamp. But they're saying infuse, what you're doing is infusing your work with you. Like your energy is being infused into it. And sometimes that process has to be slow. It's a slow burn, slow boil, right? You can't heat it up too fast. You gotta just really like let it happen, let it go. Immerse itself into it. Like kind of, the way they're showing me is it's like your energy. Like you can't just force your energy into the material, a physical material. It has to go at whatever kind of, it's an energetic pace, but it's literally like when you're mixing chemicals, right? Like sometimes it has, in order for like the atoms to match up, it has to go through a certain chemical process at a certain temperature, a certain, you know, pace. And that's what you're doing here. That's actually what you're doing. But it's interesting, there's this song, it's a country song. Okay. I had to grab a notepad because there's a song that I'm channeling, and there's a specific part, and I was hearing it, you know, when I was picking up the pace and picking up the pace and picking up the pace with what I'm saying, and I was hearing it as I was talking, which is that you're on the road to nowhere. And it's so beautiful because look at the back of this. It goes around, and so there's this feeling of being content, being happy, being fulfilled, knowing that the nowhere is exactly where you want to be. On the road to nowhere, because it feels like you have to reach a destination, but being on the road to nowhere means that you aren't having to go to a destination, because the destination is right there with you, in front of you, for you right now. It's not that you're missing something. It's not that you're not going to gain something. It's not that you're not going to reach something. It's the fact that that something is already here. It's already happening. It's already evolving. It's all, look at the, and it's a reflection. They're two separates, but it's a reflection. It's a infusion of spirit. It's weird. I just got this weird feeling. It is really beautiful and really weird and really good. Where, okay, so like I've talked about with the rainbow and like a prism, right? And the prism emits the rainbow, right? So white is rainbow. And you see how there's like directly reflection. It's literally like you are a walking miracle, or you're like a walking embodiment of spirit. It's like literally whatever you're doing, am I saying literally a lot? Whatever you're doing, whatever this craft is infused, it's an embodiment of spirit itself. It's like the most pure form of you, like of your spirit is in this product, in this thing. And you're just going through that alchemizing, right? That I don't know, that process, the chemical process. Yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna take that, whatever was the jumping. Sorry, it's the Ten of Cups, the Two of Pentacles, the Two of Wands. Okay, let's look at all of this. I need space. Excuse me. All right, so it's interesting to me because what I'm being shown, the emphasis is on two, and how the hands of this is two. It's I don't know what this is. Probably like the Ace of, I don't know, who cares? Ace of Cups or something. But the two is between you and spirit. It's between you. It's not the project, the talent, the gift, whatever it is. It's not that. Like, that alone has no value, no offense. It like literally is just nothing. It's literally just whatever it is. But it's you that puts meaning to it. It's spirit that infuses with you to kind of capture itself in this product, in this thing. That is what makes it. And that is what makes it powerful. There's something very powerful about what you're doing, powerful about what it is, right? Like literally, I don't know why I keep saying literally, but like nothing, I don't know how to explain what I'm trying to say without sounding so silly, but it's nothing has meaning, obviously, until you attribute something to it. But it's, how do I explain? It's like, it's like a portal in this thing. Like, you know, these amulets, these, I can't think of an example, like a sacred things, sacred items. It's sacred. That's what I mean, is you're infusing actual beauty. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it right. I can't think, like, you know, like a voodoo doll. Okay, this is like a terrible example or something, but it's like people, it's like infused with something, right? Or a cross. We'll use that, like a cross. It's infused with something. You get what I'm saying? Okay. So, let's look a little bit more. So what you're doing is something that other people do as well. This is not, you know, what makes it unique, again, is you. You're what makes it unique. Even your twist on it. This is not some undiscovered thing that you're doing. But people have been very receptive. So this is something that you've shared with people before. Or people have been able to see it or experience it in some way. And they have been receptive of this. they enjoy this, they like this, they are genuinely like they're sincere about their gratitude towards whatever it is that you're doing, or like the appreciation is sincere. And you know this. I don't feel that there's any sort of insecurity necessarily that's associated with it. If there is, I'm not seeing that. And I would honestly say that that's manifesting from something else, because if you were to look at this honestly, then you would reframe the way you're thinking about it and not see yourself as being insecure about your work. It feels like something that you could take somewhere, or that you have taken somewhere. Like, let's say, like for instance, at the Grammys, there's a bunch of people who are in the same field. So you could be going to the farmer's market and everyone in the same field, or spiritual conventions and everyone in the same field, or similar fields. And there's a part of you that's thinking about that in the past, or thinking about some sort of, like, even an award. And it could be a physical, like someone actually handing you an award for something that you've done or what you did, or just being grateful. And that's how it's symbolizing to me. There's a feeling of you reflecting on this, and also kind of this, there's a toss-up of something to do with your past with regards to this, and how, again, you've set it to the side and kind of trying to discover why that happened. Like, why did I do that? Or what's the meaning of why it's the way it is now? Why I'm slowing my pace? Why it feels separated? That's what I mean with it feels like, again, you journaling, or you planning, or you some sort of structuring on one end, but not actually putting it to practice. It feels very separate from each other, but this is the inspiration, like whatever you're journaling or writing down or something working on is inspired by what it is that you're wanting to do. It's motivate, you know, that's the reason why you're doing it, is because of whatever this project is. And there also feels like there's an idea of walking away from it completely, or walking away from an idea that you had that it would happen. So it's like, well, if it hasn't happened now, I only have this short amount of time in my mind of when it should happen with my project, that I kind of see it more of a dream. I'm kind of leaving it up to fate. I'm kind of leaving it up to the universe, and whatever happens with that, then that's fine. But maybe it's the dream that I was supposed to dream in order to do it, but then I wasn't supposed to reach it. It's kind of these mix up of feelings like this, and seeing how it's almost this feeling of like, well, if I would have kept going with it, then maybe I would have had a chance, or maybe I would have been closer to it. Or that was so long ago that when I pick it back up, maybe it'd be like, if we let's use an example of like oil making, right? You're making like little tinctures and stuff. It's like, well, then some things might not be as potent because I didn't take good care of it. So that's that. But I'm seeing here there's some professional setting. It's a third element to this. It's a professional setting where it feels stale. Like a hospital, it feels stale, like that, like sterile, not stale, but sterile. And I'm associating that with a professional. But there's some sort of third element here where this kind of sterile professional management or person that exists inside a building, so they work inside a building, something like this, is going to pick this up. Or it's someone with a business mindset, someone who is a business person or professional in an element that would propel you to it kind of feels like this is what you would consider an honest living. And so this professional, which it doesn't feel like that's necessarily their energy. It's like their heart obviously is very drawn to this that you're working on, but they're very much like, I don't know, they're in like some sort of professional setting, professional field or something, and they're picking it up. Like they love to fund people's passions, or they love to fund things that are unique. And like I said, what you're doing, face value, right? Like nothing is really anything until it's the spirit of the person, like who creates it. You know, that's what makes it so beautiful. And you are what makes this product or this thing so special, right? So if even a song, it's like the way that you've made it is so beautiful. It's very interesting because I'm being drawn, I have the King of Swords here, and I'm really being drawn to all of the animals on here. There's a bat, there's a crow, there's an owl, there's a dragonfly, there's flowers, there's mountains, and his eyes are these icy blue eyes, and it feels like this is everything that you're infusing into your craft, is all elements of life and spirit, right? Like again, it's like everything has a spirit. Everything carries spirit, even if it's just the markings of spirit. And that's what your product is. It's not what it symbolizes. It literally has energy to it. Again, I want to go back to that I was struggling to kind of make sense of, but even with what is it called? Like if let's say you hand this to me and I'm like, okay, and then I can pick up on the energy that owned this, right? but it's powerful. It's much more powerful than, like, anyone who touches it is like, it feels like a miraculous. It feels miraculous. It feels, and by miraculous, the miracle is that it's so powerful. Like, people are drawn to it because there's a power associated with it. This doesn't feel like anyone against you, deception and envy. I think this is more about you seeing the way things unfold, or the way things are, because it's as if you have this forgotten dream, right? Like, let's say you dream of doing whatever it is this project is, but there's one little piece of it that you've forgotten about. And it was such a big part of your life. And say as a child, you always dreamed of this specific thing to happen with it. And you're so caught up in the bulk of the rest of it that little piece, it's almost as if when it happens, not almost, it's when it does happen, you're going to say to yourself, oh my gosh, how did I forget that? How did I forget I always wanted that? That is so crazy that it actually happened. Or it's like you wrote something down and then later you uncover it and you see, wow, I can't believe I wrote that down so long ago, and then it actually came to fruition. And we have emotional withdrawal here because this is what I feel is you connecting with spirit, meditating, you know, whether it's just a simple drive to work or something, just driving or whatever, and talking to yourself or talking to spirit intentionally, and understanding that process of infusing, that's exactly what you're doing. And it could be a practice that you're starting where if you are journaling or writing these things down, that you're focusing your energy, you're harnessing your energy into that. And so this is like a miniature practice, a build up, where when you go back, finally go back to what it is that you're working on, it just carries into that. And even your past work, it raises the vibration of your past work. It's like everything that you touch leaves a vibration, like your imprint on it. Everything you touch leaves your imprint on it. So as you evolve, that imprint evolves as well. You know what this looks like? A little tick on a dog or a cat. Maybe check your pets. That's what it looks like standing your ground. It looks like a little tick standing on a dog. That's what it looks like. I already said that, so I don't know why I repeated that. Yeah, this doesn't feel like anything but a side note of something. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. And it feels like this is also showing to get a second or third opinion on something with regards to everything. This feels like an editor, right? Or the sterile person. You know, he's looking at it, he's reviewing it, or it's you taking the next step and going to get your business license. Some sort of authority figure. So that's what I see. You didn't do anything wrong. You're on the right path. There we go. Agent or manager. Happy news. Success. Share your art with the world. Open your heart to love. This is the most important part. This is just this is the exciting part, right? Exciting, everything. You know, the manager or the business license or the editor. Great news. My art is being shared with the world. I'm successful in what that means for me. That's all confirmation. That's beautiful. But this is the most important part. Open your heart to love. This is the part that's getting you here. This is the part that you've been working. Love begins. That is it. This is your opening to your creative talents and abilities. You have to accept it in. And look at that. It says, let me read it to you. The more you open your heart and pour your love into your creations, the greater their life force energy. There it is, you pouring it in. So, awesome, beautiful, perfect. I didn't even tell you what this says. It says success on here as well, triumphant success. I mean, how many more times do you have to see that word, right? You know this. And this is literally what it said. I wasn't just saying it out of thin air. You're on the right path. Forgive yourself. You didn't do anything wrong. You know, this is how it's unfolding. You're not too late. You're not too early. You're right on time. So that's what I see. Bye.